Hello YouTube, this is Scott the Mad Hattis. Today we're gonna do some cooking. We're gonna make some hash browns from scratch. Now, some people may say, "Oh, don't you just shred the potatoes and just throw it and cook it?" No, it's a little more. A few more steps added into that. So what you're gonna need are some potatoes, okay, and more potatoes, depending on who you're cooking for. You're gonna need a grater, okay, a bowl, okay. You're gonna need a cloth of some kind, like something that you, something for okay. And then also you're going to need a well-seasoned cast iron is definitely good for this. And then also if you, it doesn't hurt if you have a um a Dutch oven, so you can use the lid. And see, for mine, the lid fits perfectly over the cast iron pan from the Dutch oven, so that makes perfect sense. So let's get started. Alrighty. So the very first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna turn on some cold water. That's the hot. And I'm gonna take. I have a scour I use just for my potatoes. Okay, and I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna rub these off a little bit. Get the dirt off as much as I can. Get it nice and clean. I'm gonna set them aside. Get it nice and clean here. Yep. Gets off any of the growing roots from the tuber, you know, or extensions and what have you. And the scour gets rid of the dirt. If you see how nice and clean that looks. I'm just gonna, you don't have to scrub it with a scour, but it does help a little bit. Okay. Guess the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my pot, my bowl here, and I'm gonna fill it up with some cold water. Okay. Not all the way up, but you want to fill it up a good ways. Just enough here. Yep, that's funny. Okay, and then I'm gonna take our grater, and this part is pretty self-explanatory. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna chop off one of the ends so that way we don't get too much of that skin in there. Okay, you can do it however you want, and I'm just gonna take. Okay, this over the bowl. Okay, on 1 second here, I'm gonna scooch this on over here, and we're just gonna grate these on over the cold water. Okay. This does take a little bit of a process to do. Okay, there we go. And you want to grate them into some cold water, because if they're not in the cold water, if they're exposed to oxygen too much, they'll brown and they'll look ugly and unsightly. Okay, because the air oxidizes the starches. All right. Alrighty then. Now that's okay. This is what they're gonna look like afterwards. Okay. The next step in the hash brown making process is we're going to strain them as much as we can. Okay, I'm going to set you down right here. And I'm going to grab my strainer here. This is a fine sieve, so it definitely, okay, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to strain them out. Okay, and then okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that rag I was mentioning earlier, and I'm going to drape it over the top of the hash browns. I'm going to group it around the hash browns, and I'm going to turn it upside down once I have that. Okay, that way you have this right here. Okay, and then I'm going to let it loose like that. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to fold this over the top. Okay. Okay, and then I'll set you back down now. Okay, now the goal is to get as much water. I'm going to squeeze as much water out of these potatoes as you possibly can. And the reason for that is Potatoes already have a lot of water in them when they're growing naturally, and we just added water in them to prevent them from oxidizing and turning brown. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get as much water out of here as possible, because if we tried to cook them like this, they'll cook, but they're going to end up more like mushy, gushy mashed potatoes than actual. So we're just going to start. I'm going to hold this in. I'm just going to squeeze as much water out of these as I can, because the more water you get out of these, the more crispy and golden goodness you can get out of it. You want to squeeze as much of that out as possible. Okay. And while I'm doing this, I'm gonna heat up my skillet, my cast iron. Okay, and now when you cook like fresh hash browns like this, you're gonna want to use at least a whole stick of butter. Excuse me. This don't lie right here, because I won't eat nothing I don't like. So trust me. You know how they say never trust a fat cook, a skinny cook. No, I think my credentials are in order right here. Okay. So yeah. Whole stick of butter, or at least you want to use a little more, because to keep the potatoes from sticking. Also, it'll help, so we're gonna go, and then after this, I'm just gonna leave this covered up like that, and then we go wait for that skillet to heat up. All right. Okay, so I made a lot about a whole. You don't want to stick a whole stick in there, but you want a consistent, good amount of butter. Look how sheeny and shiny that is on the bottom. That is not gonna stick. Okay, that's what you want. Okay, and if it may initially stick just a little bit, but it'll easily come up. Okay, and this is what you want. You want your skillet to get nice and hot. You want that butter bubbling just a little bit. Okay. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna open up this rag here, and I'm gonna put all of these hash browns. Okay, 1 second here. I'm gonna show you. See, I'm gonna put all these right into the skillet here. Okay, and then I'm gonna start spreading them out with my hands. Okay, you want these spread out as much as you can in the bottom of that skillet, and these do feel just about dry, so that's good, and that's what you want. Okay, and then I'm gonna kind of start pressing these down just a little bit. You don't want to squeeze them down. You just want to give them a light patting so they kind of set evenly on the surface of the skillet. Okay. Okay, and now I did put some of that butter into the side of the Dutch oven here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that butter back out. Okay, and I'm gonna lay it right on top there. So it'll. Okay, then I'm gonna take this cast iron, this Dutch oven lid, and I'm gonna place it back down right on top of that. And there's a good reason for that. Okay, because this will trap the steam. Okay, coming off from the potatoes, and it'll harness it, but at the very same time it'll let a little bit of it out through the pore ends here. Okay, so that's definitely good. And see, this right here will allow the potatoes to cook and get crispy at the same time. Now, if you want to touch this after you let it cook for a little bit, and raw potatoes will definitely take longer than those processed bagged potatoes that you do, or the dry carton that you just pour hot water in. These gonna take a lot longer because they're raw. Okay, but anytime if you're doing it my method, you want to use your one of these when you lift the lid off. Okay, now look at that. Okay. Oh, I can already start smelling them. Good. All right, let's check them out and see how they're doing. Okay, so we'll grab this up and set this right back on there like that. Oh, I smell that. That smells great. I'll take this and I'll lift them up. Look at that. No sticking. Absolutely beautiful. But we're going, okay, that's going nice. Look at that. Look at that crisp you got on there. And it's cooking. And this is what you want right here. Yeah, now when you flip, you gotta make sure you okay, first what I do is I start off by flipping them over, because then you get under that crisp and you lift it off from the surface of the cooking. And now I'm just gonna put them back out again, and I'm gonna kind of spread them out. That way the potato evenly cook. Okay. See how that's getting a nice good crisp even with that lid on there? And that's why you remove as much water as you can from these potatoes, because then you get this perfect golden brown you get from that. Now these ain't done yet, so we're gonna cover it up and give them just a little bit longer. While you guys are waiting for that to cook, I wanted to show you guys something about North Dakota. North Dakota is, okay, Mother Nature can be mean when she wants to. Okay, and so we had a nasty hurricane force winds blizzard not too long ago. Like the police were saying, everybody needs to stay home. If you leave, you're disobeying an emergency order not to stay home. And so that was a couple of days ago. Now that a lot of that snow has been, kind of dealt with and mitigated with a little bit. We had a little bit of warm weather, melted some of the snow. Now we have some rain, and the temperature is just tiny bit below a tiny bit at or a little bit below freezing. So now we get this. Now all surfaces outside are coated in ice skating rink ice. It's all shiny too. Check this out. Look at it. Okay, hold on 1 second here. Okay, hold on 1 second here. It's a good way to do this here. Oh, okay. It's too dark to see it, but if you look, it's perfect. Right, I'll turn around. If I don't fall first. Here we go. Look at this. Look how shiny that looks. And this and everything is coated in that shiny top layer of ice that'll make you fall right on your bum, if you're not careful. And everything, the roads, everything are coated in that ice. So yeah, it's and you could ice skate to work with in that if you knew what you were doing. Okay, here we go. Check this out. Ooh, yeah. Look at that. Oh my dear Lord. That is so good. That looks so good. Needs just a little longer though. It really is cooking. Yeah. I'm just gonna spread it out a little more. Yep. Nothing sticking. It's all good. Oh my goodness. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some black pepper to that right there. Make sure it's all nice and good. Gotta have a little bit of black pepper on there, Just a little bit of those for me, so I add whatever I want to it. Alright. So here we go. I'm gonna add a little bit of kosher salt to it. And there it is. Simple and Alright, now this is the final product. Look at that crispy on there. Let's give it a try. Perfect. Yeah, these gonna be gone. Well, then, they ain't gonna last the next 5 minutes. This has been Scott the Man Has with another recipe. There'll be more coming. Stay up, stay safe, and tell whoever's controlling this cold to turn it off.